1. Welcome back to the Shankly Sessions. This is your match reaction. Man United 0, Liverpool 5. Goals from Naby Keita, Diogo Jota, and a hat-trick from the Egyptian king, Mohamed Salah. Paul Pogba being sent off. Didn't really look like United were in the game at all today. Liverpool started out very strong pressing, as they always do. But joining me, as always, Dino from the Shankly Sessions. How we doing, Dino?
I don't really want to rub it in on Ted, but it is what it is.
You have to take your licks, you know. You get fucking hammered like that, you're going to take the fucking kicking for it, aren't you?
I put into the WhatsApp group just before kickoff saying that the anxiousness before a Liverpool United game is palpable. Fuck me, man. That was a training session. Now, you put up that picture in the WhatsApp group, Noel, the picture of Old Trafford saying Liverpool's now training ground. I thought we were good against Porto, playing in second gear. It was demoralising for Porto. Same against Watford last week. To go and do that against Man United in Old Trafford, the stuff dreams are made of. A loss for words. Well, we had a feeling doing the podcast the other day that Salah was he was going to let loose. 3 goals and an assist today. It was just phenomenal.
Well, also joining us on the podcast from Retrotainment and Retrotainment Recast on the Dynamo Podcast Network, Ted, the Man United fan. Ted, how we doing, my man? I know, not great coming on, but you're the bravest Man United fan on this network.
No, it's a rough old day. Darren would have been on, I'd say, if he wasn't over at the game. I feel bad for him travelling over there and having to watch that now. I did the preview with you with Darren, and we did, like I said then, Salah is the best player in the world at the moment. I never expected the man not to score. I was expecting Salah to get at least one. So I didn't think, this was going to be any sort of cakewalk or anything. And even though form goes out the door, but that was I don't even know what I was watching there, to be honest. That was an under 11s game versus a Premier League team that didn't really kick off. I know 5-0. I'm not saying you didn't deserve 5-0, but you didn't play like a team that should be winning 5-0 there, really. I think you never got out of first gear, and we were just so bad that it was just easy for you to cruise in those 5 goals, even in first gear.
I think after 38 minutes, the game was done. Once Salah scored his first one, I think going 3-0 up, I just think it took the heart out of United. And to get that 4th one then just on the edge of half-time really knocked the stuffing out of us. But do you know what it is? We've spoken about United being a team of stars, but not being a team. And it was really shown today. I mean, if you look at it, 36% possession at Old Trafford.
Yeah,
really bad surrendering that. No press at all, either from the front or the midfield. Ollie sticking with McFred still. Pogba on the bench. Bruno starting, and Bruno being so poor most of the season. So many bad decisions there, Cavani not playing, Rashford instead, and all this kind of thing. So many poor decisions, really,
Sancho overlooked again in a big game. They're the big games where you turn to your star players and say, lads, you need to go out there and make some sort of a statement. Like a draw for United against Liverpool today would have been considered a good result. I said before the game started that nearly every ex-pundit in the game was saying that Liverpool were onto a winner here. And my feelings on Liverpool United games, and I can't watch them. Even at 3-0, I didn't feel comfortable. It was if these get won, there's the momentum there behind them and all. How, like Ted said, how easy that was for Liverpool.
Yeah.
You look at the names on the team sheet, you look at the players on the bench for United. Bruno Fernandes, and I'm not just saying this being biased as a Liverpool fan and the hatred I have for United. He looks amateur at best since the start of the season, but the last couple of months of last season. People were talking about last year him being one of the best players on the planet. He's nowhere near it. Absolutely nowhere near it on the showings this season, but especially today. Mo Salah, I've said it nearly every week, Noel. He's not even playing to the best of it. I still think he has 2 more gears in him. You know what I mean? He's just he's taking more chances now. 4th player in Premier League history to score a hat-trick at Old Trafford. That's unbelievable. That is fucking unbelievable.
Well, as Ted said, it felt like a training session for us. Like the 5-0, it didn't seem like a 5-0 game because it was so comfortable for us. But to be honest with you, after 13 minutes when Diogo Jota scored that second goal, the way we were pressing and moving and sliding the ball through them and stuff like that, it just looked so easy. So easy. Like
they just showed the first goal here on the breakdown of the game afterwards. Van Dijk gets the ball and puts it back to Alisson, then 6 passes later, it's in the net. Like, when Salah picks up that ball from Jota, I think it was, and then as soon as Salah turns, Kate is already 5 or 6 yards away from, I think, Shaw it was. Now, Salah puts the perfect ball in front of him. It was literally a waltz in the park. It was like the Liverpool team that we know they as good as they can be against a gang of blind guys. United.
It was pathetic. It was pathetic. Like there's no other word for it. It's pathetic. Like, and what annoyed me the most was like, listen, like you see somebody miss an easy chance every once in a while. The game starts. Bruno has a fucking a clear cut chance. I'd say your hearts were in your throats because that's
definitely.
I think that's at 3 minutes or whatever it is, and he fucking skies it, and you're just like, Jesus Christ. Okay, early game jitters, whatever. You turn around from there, and Kate is put into the same position, and he puts it away. De Gea nearly gets a foot to it. We lost 5-0. I can't put any of that on De Gea either. I don't think De Gea did much wrong there.
He made a couple of good saves.
I don't think he could have stopped anything that kind of went past him. But
the save from Salah when he cut in was unbelievable.
And the one from
save from Trent as well.
Trent, yeah, that's the one I was going to say. The one from Trent is a very good save. But like the first goal, I don't know what Wan-Bissaka's doing. He rushes forward to try and cover a man at the halfway line, leaving, I think, was it Robbo behind him? I don't know, or was it Jota that was behind him? He runs up anyway to cover one man at the halfway line, leaving another behind him, which then Maguire is trying to cover. They just skip past Maguire, then skip past Lindelof. And Shaw's left in a 2v1 with Salah and Keita. Like, that's amateur. And then the second goal, two English boys that are meant to, like, they play in the same club, play in the same international team, and they just run into each other and the ball just bounces by them and just gets a nice easy tap in. That's fucking, like, Niall, you're a coach and you'd be hooking boys off for that at your level, like, let alone at a Premier League level.
I did today at 2:00, pal. At 2:00 today, I was doing the same thing.
That's what I mean. Like, it's just, that's disgraceful. It shouldn't be happening. And then the third and the fourth, like, all of them were just, there was a lot of calamities there. I think the fourth one is the one where it's no, it's not the fourth one, is it? I don't know. Salah takes a shot and it ricochets off Maguire, and they all just look at it until a Liverpool player's already on it, and you're just like, why are you looking at that bouncing in your box? Don't fucking get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ted, what did you make of the starting lineup?
I wasn't surprised by it, right? But that's not to say I think it was the right call. I just wasn't surprised by it. I knew that's what the starting lineup would be. It's not what it should have been, because that's the same squad that went out and got hammered 2-0 in the first half against Atalanta. If you're going out and getting beaten by that team 2-0 in the first half, I know they went on to win it, but that's when substitutes were made. If you needed those substitutes to get you back into it against Atalanta, why not start that way against Liverpool?
I suppose, knowing that we were going to start so quick, because we always come out of the blocks really quick anyway, was there a call to start Matic?
No, I don't think so. I think you either go 5 at the back and drop one of the attacking players and go from there, and possibly drop Fred as well to get that attacking player back on the pitch. But you'd need 5 at the back. You can't have Fred. Like, if you had Varane, maybe, because he's a bit of pace to him as a centre back, but the two boys have no pace to them as centre backs. You can't be just having them if you're going to start a 4 at the back.
I think the way United have been playing, how bad they've been defensively, I think Matic should definitely have started. He's that old head on, you know what I mean? He has that. He's been in them battles before, especially with Liverpool missing Fabinho. You know what I mean? And you're taking Henderson out of position. The spotlight wasn't even on Liverpool's midfield today. When Fabinho was missing, me and Niall as well, we do always worry about being overrun in the middle of the park. Fabinho was so clever in what he does. Like he's on the same level as the top players in that position, you know. And then you're moving Henderson back, you're putting Milner in. Does he get booked early? Do you know what I mean? Is he then targeted? And then Keita was the big question, you know, saying like, does he deserve to start? I thought he was flawless today, Keita. I know there wasn't much of a pressure on us going forward from United, but you know, the United were that bad that it made everybody. And not saying anybody played bad for Liverpool, but there was no pressure on Liverpool whatsoever there today. You know what I mean? So Matic, I think, would have made a massive difference in the middle of the park. You know what I mean? He gets stuck in, he leaves a fucking mark on an opponent. Just fancy stuff in the middle of the park. Look at Pogba for Salah's hat-trick. You know what I mean? He just, the ball at his foot, and there's no like urgency. There's no like, with a player of Pogba's caliber, you're thinking when the ball is coming to him, he's already a pass ahead. He knows where that's going. The ball gets trapped underneath him. Henderson and Milner take the ball off him, and then he just trots back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very bad from him as well. But I think like if you're going to start Matic, then you're taking Fred or McTominay off, and you know, like I'm not saying that that's going to devalue what that midfield is, because neither of them played particularly well today. But you do lose some pace anyway when you put Matic in. So I can see why he didn't start Matic, but I just think, I don't know what you would have done. Like that team just definitely shouldn't be starting. It didn't prove itself in midweek. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of fault at Ole here as well. Like I'm not covering him and saying, you know, it's not all his fault. Like there's a lot of fault to him for picking that team, but a lot of those players need to sit down and look at themselves and go, why was I so bad? Like how was I that bad today?
Why is Ole so hesitant in making those big decisions there? I know Klopp's around longer than him, but the team came out for Liverpool today. I was thinking that there's no way Naby Keita starts, and I was thinking is it Jota or Firmino starting? Like to go and start Keita and to go and start Jota over Sadio Mane, you know what I mean? They're massive decisions that world-class managers make. I'm not saying Ole is a world-class manager. I'm just saying, you know, does he take a gamble and start Sancho today? Why doesn't he bring Donny van de Beek on? Like he's so, it's like he's 5 months, 6 months behind the guy. It's like looking at Steve Bruce when he was trudging off the pitch there today. Put him out of his misery. I don't personally want to see him sacked because I think it's a joy to watch as a Liverpool fan. We've suffered long enough watching United being like dominant. But, you know, is it time to put him out of his misery now? Because the longer he goes there, at half time, I looked at my brother and I said, I've never seen that at Old Trafford in my history of a football fan. Never once seen that at Old Trafford.
We said it on the preview, Ted, didn't we? That if he didn't start making these decisions,
he'd be out.
He'd be out, and not only out, it'd be out in a very bad way in terms of the legacy he leaves behind. That you'd rather go out on your sword making these decisions, and if they backfire on you, why not put Donny van de Beek in there? Why not start Pogba and drop Bruno? Why not drop Ronaldo and start Cavani? Why not? Why not?
No, and I do agree. Like there is a lot of faults on him there, but like honestly, I think whatever attacking changes he did, he could have made before this game started. You know, start Donny over Fred. I don't think that covers the mistakes that were made by individuals. Like, how many offsides was there?
But
you know
what
I mean? Like,
but he knew he was going to have to press from the front, didn't he? And you know you're not going to get that from Ronaldo, but you would get buckets of that from Cavani.
Yeah, can I just say something? But sorry, go on, Ted.
No, but just like how many offsides is there? Do you know, like I know Liverpool, like you have Van Dijk there, who is good at commanding his back four and whatnot. But listen, you can't have that many offsides. Like this is something that when you're getting to the level of being playing at the Premier League, getting caught offside once or twice, or you know, every once in a while, it's going to happen. But you can't be offside for like 7 or 8 fucking forward balls in a row. You need, like, that's something that needs to be looked at. Defensively, those players were a shamble, and that's not to do with the setup that they were given. They weren't talking to each other. When they got the ball, they didn't know where to be passing it. That's individual stuff. And whatever about a manager, training coach, whatever you're doing on the training grounds, there are certain things you should just be able to do if you're a footballer, especially at that higher level. There's certain things you should be able to do, and these boys cannot do it. They should get dropped for it, but who are you going to put in for them either?
a lot of those offside Teds come from pressure in the moment. You know what I mean? And also those lads trying to, like, they know they're up against one of the best defenses in the world and the best defender in the world in Virgil van Dijk. There's no doubt about it. So they're trying to steal a yard on him as quickly as possible because they know that it won't work otherwise. And it's the pressure. It's also a confidence thing as well. That team is lacking serious confidence. And when you're lacking confidence, you're trying anything to gain an advantage and you're not aware of what's going on around you. And when you have a Van Dijk back there, the likes of Van Dijk, even Kanate today, let's throw a mention out for Kanate today, who was absolutely calm and exceptional. That's nearly his first game he's been trusted into. I think he's played one or two others. But to go in there into that cauldron, to be so calm, I mean, it was like they had transported Joel Matip into Venice Beach and made him a bodybuilder and brought out Kanate. It's the exact same player, calmness as you like, you know.
There you go, Noel. Again, I forgot the gamble, that not necessarily a gamble, but what a massive decision to throw Konate in against Ronaldo. What a fucking, there you go again. You're talking about decisions that Ole is afraid to make. The players that he left on the bench, the players that he started over what was on the bench. To turn around to Konate, I'd imagine he'd have known yesterday or Thursday, listen, pal, you're going in against the big guy on Sunday. No pressure at all on you, pal. You're going in against Man United in Old Trafford, where Liverpool could win 37 out of 37. United could have 37 defeats out of 37 games. Last day of the season, you have to win the league. You're going in where form means nothing. And United could easily have turned up and done what we did today. You know, like, to make that decision. But I just want to go back to Cavani and Ronaldo, all right? I've said this countless times so far on podcasts, right? Aaron Wan-Bissaka gets sent off against Basel in the Champions League. Cristiano Ronaldo gets whipped off straight away. Straight away after the game, the first question, why'd you take Ronaldo off? Ole answers with, he's 36 years of age now. He needs to be managed game times. He's played every single game for United this season. Ole, in his mind, believes that without Ronaldo, this team can do nothing. I was one of the big fans of the Cavani deal for United during the summer as a Liverpool fan. I talked so much about what he does for the team. The main word being there, what he does for the team. How he pulls Van Dijk or Konate out of a situation to open up spaces for the other attackers in the team. How good he is in the air, his work rate. You watch any game Cavani plays for United last season and tell me that he doesn't work his bollocks off. And you look at that petulant prick today, Ronaldo, doing absolutely fucking nothing. Should have been sent off for that kick on Curtis Jones. He's a fucking waster. As great as he is, games like today show the real character in that man. He's all about himself and nothing else. Nothing else.
Ted?
Like, if we're going to play a pressing game, it should have been Cavani starting. Why we're playing a pressing game, I don't know. We're not a pressing team. We don't have the players there to play a pressing game. We had to play as a counter-attack team. That is the only way we could have, done anything useful against you. Why we were trying to press against you is when it's not the style of play we play. So it's a first time trying out this pressure game of, like, push them up top and try and win the ball back up there. Why are you trying that against Liverpool for the first time? Go out and try that against fucking, someone in the FA Cup or in the Carabao Cup or something like that. Try that against someone that you should be beating anyway. Or when you're 3-0 up or something, then you can start trying it. Don't be trying that from the off against a team like Liverpool, who, if you get caught and it doesn't work, they'll tear you to shreds, which is exactly what happened here. Like, Liverpool weren't at the races today. They won 5-0, but they weren't at the races today. If they went out and played most other teams, like even a team like Burnley or something, if they went out and played like that today, they wouldn't have won 5-0. And that's how bad it is, and it's not to do with the tactics were wrong, yeah. And if you're going to do that, you should have the likes of Cavani on, you should have the likes of maybe Lingard, who'll run all day for you and chase the ball around. You should have those players starting if you're going to be pressing from the, going for that high press. But I don't know. I don't know why he decided that's what he was going to go for with someone like Ronaldo, who, as great as Ronaldo is, he's not that kind of player anymore. He's the kind of player where, you get the ball, ping it up to him, and he'll do something from there on the counter-attack. But he won't be, you're not going to see him running up and down the pitch trying to win the ball back. That's not what he is, and it's not what I expect him to be doing either.
What do you think now, Ted, in terms of that's 3 defeats in the league now, 11 goals conceded, 8 points behind Chelsea. I mean, what you think now? I mean, Ollie has to go, doesn't he? He does have to go.
If there's someone to replace him, yeah, but there's no point in letting him go with no one to replace him either. Do you know what I mean? Because what are they going to do then?
Well, there's out Zidane and Conte are available. Rodgers is waiting on the Man City job. I think there's a queue like the old line to the social welfare office in off Thomas Street for the Newcastle job at the moment. But I'm just looking at United's next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's not good. It's not a good.
Up until the 5th of December. They've Spurs away, Atalanta away, City at home, Watford away, Villarreal away, Chelsea away, Arsenal at home, and then Palace.
Yeah, not a good run.
If they're gonna knuckle down and back Ole, by the time my birthday comes around in December and that Palace game, they could be out of Champions League and like
out of the top 4. Yeah, they could be.
Yeah, they're 8 points off the top of the table as is. I know it's still early days, but you know. It's ominous for United. Like they could easily go, but the pressure on Spurs next week as well, and Spurs will smell blood.
Yeah, but if you play like that against any team in the Premier League, you'd be lucky to get away with a victory. To be honest, that's the worst we've played. That is probably the worst we've played, regardless of our other performances haven't been good, like by any stretch, bar maybe the Leeds one, and I think that was more Leeds flattering us than us being particularly great either.
Yeah, you can't Leeds cold.
Yeah,
I just hope that I actually feel when Ole was walking off the pitch at the end there, I felt sorry for him because you just know the abuse he's going to get. But I hope that these so-called diehard United fans, if they're going to come out and throw abuse around, I hope they pick on the bigger names in the team and not kick Fred while he's down and not kick the likes of Greenwood while he's down or Rashford while he's down. Target the big guys who talk a big game. Target Ronaldo. You know, he's supposed to be the main man in that team. He's supposed to be a leader without the captaincy. You know, the way he kicked out of Curtis Jones today, you know, there was a couple of times where the petulance told. And, you know, every time with Ronaldo, when things aren't going his way, you always see the body language is down. You always see it. That's a guy who's came in brought in by Ole and United, that the young lads will know they'll learn off him and they'll see his attitude towards games like that. It's all well and good walking into a dressing room after and putting your arm around the young lad and saying, you know, better days are ahead. Any time the camera went to him today, head down, looking at the ground, flapping the arms around, punching the ground. There was a time there when he had to go off Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk, the ball came in then, just stood up, chest out, pushed him about 5 yards away and just laughed at him. Like, fuck off, mate.
I think apart from David De Gea, there's no one else there at the moment that can go hiding, really, is there? I mean, David De Gea has been keeping them in so many games. How many games has he been man of the match now and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And I think eventually, if your goalkeeper is man of the match so many times, when you come up against real quality opposition that are firing on all cylinders, and again, Ted, I know you said we didn't turn it up a notch today. We coasted it, really. But I think when you do come up against teams that are structured well and tactically laid out well and stuff like that, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a serious problem.
Yeah, no, and like that's what Dean was saying. These next couple of fixtures, if you show up like that, you may as well go out, get 7 players sent off and take the 3-0 loss at the start of the game, go out and just take just hand it. Like, listen here, there's 3-0 victory and we'll just go home, save ourselves the time, because nobody wants to watch a team play like that. I know, like, for you, it was great. You are Liverpool fans, it was great to watch that, but that's shite. Like, nobody wants to be watching a top team be playing like that. That's not even championship level play. Like, that's below that. Like, you know, Division 4 or 5 or something. I don't know. Like, players not communicating, not being able to pass the ball around. Maguire, again, abysmal today. And I know what you and Darren were saying, in that, like, he is carrying a bit of an injury by the looks of it, and it's, you know, he's toughing through it, and, you know, whatever, fair play to him, but there's certain things you should still be able to do. If you know you're injured, don't be trying to run forward. Just stay back a little bit further, give yourself that extra yard if you need to, but you should still be able to communicate with your team. You still should be able to pass the ball around.
But isn't that where you need a manager? Because he's going up against the best player in the world right now.
Yeah.
The best player in the world right now absolutely made a show of him today. And like when you're going up against that player, is that not where you turn around and your manager goes? Your manager should be strong enough to say, "You're not the guy to go in there today." Like what Klopp did today with Kanate. He put Kanate in, he took Matip out. You know what I mean? You have to sometimes, and I said it on the preview as well. At some stage, Ollie has to stand up in that soapbox and he has to make the decisions that he's getting paid to make. Donny van de Beek has to go into that team. Pogba has to start, although it was petulant, he got the red cards of that. But that's part of that is because of Solskjaer's management. He should be starting today. He shouldn't be coming off the bench, and certainly not for a Bruno who's playing the way he is at the moment. And we said it on the preview during the week there that he has to start making these big decisions or he's going to fall on a sword and he's going to leave with a really bad legacy left behind. There's Man United channels at the moment and all telling him to fuck off and take his fucking flick from 99 with him. You know what I mean? That's how bad and how poisonous it's got, you know?
Yeah, no, he should have been starting, and Greenwood shouldn't have been getting the hook today. I think Greenwood, okay, he might not be getting a lot of goals or assists, but I think if you're watching Greenwood, I think there's a lot of good link-up play, and he was kind of at fault for that first goal, but again, he's quite a young kid as well. Like he's going to make a few mistakes, but I don't think he should have been the one getting the hook. It probably should have been Bruno. Bruno didn't really get up to much today at all. He hasn't really been up to much recently. But I don't know. Like I don't know. Even it's not just that. Like individual performances are poor. The likes of Fred should not be starting. And I know what Dean's saying that like you have to go with the bigger names as well. But someone like that should not be starting. The guy can't pass a ball 6 foot in front of him. You know.
It's not a case of you have to play the bigger names. I'm just playing. Klopp has never. Not look at Alex Ferguson. You know, the great teams of Manchester United under Ferguson, right? He didn't give a fuck what your name was. He didn't care how much you were worth.
Yeah.
If you weren't playing well, you weren't playing. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah.
You're looking at the bench. If Maguire is injured, right? Put in Axel Tuanzebe. Liverpool had no centre halves last year. We had to play Reece Williams and Nat Phillips, right? And you look at the players we had out. If Ole makes them decisions and takes Maguire out of the team, if I genuinely believe if you play the players who, I'm not saying that the lads who are starting aren't doing it in training, but there's lads there who deserve to be playing. You can't keep throwing in Ronaldo because you think he's the only chance we have of getting a goal. Sancho, you know, he's not really set anything alight. Possibly he could start today. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure Jurgen didn't expect him to start, but you have to be thinking of decisions that how are the opponents setting up to play us? Is it that set in stone that they think that this is the way we're going to line up with our attack wise, or if they think we're going to go 4 at the back or 5 at the back? Donny van de Beek, Jadon Sancho, Axel Tuanzebe, Jesse Lingard, Cavani. You know, they're no better, no worse than what's being starting in the team. It just makes no sense to look at a guy who's manager of Man United, and I always say this. It's like Ferguson is in his ear as well. You know what I mean? And when the camera went to Ferguson today, I swear to God, it couldn't have been any sweeter, because we've seen over the years the smugness in him when he's humiliated Liverpool. You know, to look at Solskjaer walking off, knowing that all the blame is on him. He's under a lot of pressure there. You Ferguson watching what you're doing as manager. You have the likes of Ronaldo in the squad who will think that he has a bigger say in the team than the manager does. Because let's be honest, Ronaldo is Ronaldo. He's always been outspoken. He's always been the big voice in teams that he's been in. You seen the interviews during the week. They done one with Ronaldo and they done with Mo Salah, and talking about, I know I'll score goals. I know the standards I've set for myself and all. He doesn't seem a team player at all.
No, I don't know that he ever has been, really. You know, he's always like, even back when you'd watch him at Madrid, you know, someone on the team could have passed him the ball to score, but they scored instead. And you can kind of see, like, you could see him having a bit of a strop at times as well, even back then. That's when he would have been in his prime. Like, he's getting on in the years now. You know, you can't stay at that top level forever. But I don't know, there's a lot of problems at United, and it's not just the manager, it's not just the training. There's a lot of individuals there that need to step up and look at what they're not good at. I know what Darren's saying, like the likes of Wan-Bissaka needs to be kept on an extra hour after training to practice crossing and things like that. Yeah, he should be, but at the same time, you know, you're a big boy. If you know you're not good enough for that, get out there and request that you're being kept back. Don't wait to be told you have to be done it. Get out there and start doing it yourself. Stay back an extra hour yourself. Just practice. You're a big boy. Like you're not 7 or 8 years old anymore, lads. You know, you're playing at the top level. And I don't care about wages. I don't care who's getting paid what. These are decisions you need to be able to make yourself. I'm not good at that. I need to go out and learn it. And it doesn't. The players don't seem to have the heart. So I think even if you got rid of Ole, is that heart going to change in some of those players? I don't know.
And another thing
needs to change.
We're getting rid of Ole as well. You look at the money that's being put into the squad already under Solskjaer.
Yeah.
You know, is a Zidane or is a Conte going to come in and think, right, well, yeah, I can win a league with this team? Because let's be honest, I don't think you can win a Premier League with that team. Like I'm looking at the squad here. Defense-wise, Bailey's not good enough. The Lot's not good enough. Phil Jones not good enough. Mengi's only a kid. Alex Tellez not really pushing Shaw out of the team. Midfield-wise, Fernandez, Mata is just rotting away. Matic is rotting away. Donny van de Beek is rotting away. And then attacking-wise, Cavani, Greenwood is going to be a superstar. Martial is not consistent enough. Rashford only come back from injury. Ronaldo just wants all the limelight. And Jadon Sancho, that's probably 11 players I've named there.
But
you know what I mean?
But Dane, that's a squad that should be competitive, isn't it?
It should be, yes.
It should be whether it wins a trophy or wins a league or not. It should be competitive. It shouldn't be getting touched up by Liverpool 5-0.
That team, it should be competitive, Niall. But you find me an United fan who won't sit down and look at that and say too many egos. Definitely a team there, but too many egos. There is too many egos in that Man United team. When's the last time you've seen Man United playing collectively? You look back to the cup finals, the Europa League cup final. Again, like, just don't show up on the big occasion. You know, bad decisions made again by the manager, but also star players underperforming. Tell me a game other than the Leeds game where Bruno Fernandes has shown up.
Bruno's had a poor start, and he, you know, at the end of last season, people were putting it down to, you know, too much game time and things just catching up with him, and that's fair enough. Like, that can happen to a player, but he hasn't really been at the races here. I don't really know what's up with him. I don't know what's stopping him, because the quality is there. I don't know, is he just too worried about what's behind him, so he's constantly tracking back, trying to cover for the boys that are behind him? I don't know what's going on in his head that he's not pushing on. But this is a team that should be competing, whether they're winning leagues or whatever. That's a different story. But this is those players. That list of players are a team that should be able to compete with any other.
Jesse Lingard came in as well. Jesse Lingard started 3 games since he came back.
Yeah,
no, he was told you're a big part of the plans. And again, it's just a player to have sitting on the bench just to fill numbers and homegrown players. Jadon Sancho was probably sitting there thinking, why didn't I just hold out for another fucking 12 months?
Sancho's a bit of a different one, because before Rashford got back, Sancho did have chances in that Premier League, and he didn't set anything alight. Like, he did. Sancho wasn't up to much at all in the games he did play, and now Rashford's come back, and Rashford's done more in the 2 or 3 games he's had than Sancho has. So he should, like, Sancho does need to be getting game time, but I can see why he was dropped, because he didn't prove it when he got the chances. So
why are you saying? No, go on.
I was just going to say, Dean, you mentioned the camera going to Alex Ferguson there. I'd like to mention the camera then going to King Kenny Dalglish, and the smile on that man's face is just infectious. I just want to park United for a few minutes, because we've spoke about them most of the episode so far.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Liverpool for a second, Dean. Let's talk about Mo Salah. Pay him whatever he wants and get him signed up.
Right, I just want to take. I've 5 points here to talk about Mo Salah breaking more records. Can I just firstly say, when Mo Salah signed for Liverpool, I was one of many who said, "Is this the type of player who Liverpool need to bring in to take us to glory?" I believe that without Mo Salah, Liverpool would have had no glory. In my opinion, you take his goals out of the team, it's a far cry from where they are with his goals in the team. But after today's game, Mo Salah is now the leading goal scorer, or African goal scorer in Premier League history, with 106 goals, ahead of Didier Drogba's 104. So he's the best African player to play in the Premier League. No debate needed. First hat-trick by an opposition player at Old Trafford since Ronaldo 18 years ago in the Champions League. First opposition player to score a hat-trick at Old Trafford in Premier League history. First Liverpool player to score in 3 straight away games at Man United. And part of Liverpool's biggest win in Manchester United since 1925, which was 5-0 at Anfield. And just to finish it off, he's the first Liverpool player to score in 10 consecutive Premier League games. The man is on another level. It's absolutely scary how good this guy is. And I stick by it. I still think that he's another couple of years to go to. If he keeps going at this rate, I can see him nearly breaking every fucking record that's been made in football at this rate. It's just absolutely outstanding. The calmness, the composure, the goals he scores, you know, we've seen it since he signed for Liverpool. He's scoring goals that I've no more superlatives for him. The guy is on another planet.
I could sit here talking about his goals, but I'm not even going to talk about his goals. What about the assists? What about his movement? What about his strength on the ball? What about his reading of the game? How much stuff has that man improved in this summer? It's unbelievable. His game outside of goals is incredible as well. Incredible.
How many times have we spoke about, you know, the chances that he's missed? The chances that he's missed, and that if he had a bit more belief in himself, he'd blow every player around out of the water.
Well, he has that belief now, baby.
He has that belief now, and I still think there's a couple of gears to go. If not 2, there's definitely 1 there that he can go up. He's doing it in the toughest league in the world, week in, week out. If he's not scoring, he's getting an assist. He seems to be getting a goal and an assist fucking every week at this rate. Yeah, it's just, it's scary. You talked about there his assist, his work rate for the team. He came out during the week, you know, and put a lot of hope into Liverpool fans, saying that he wants to finish out his career till the day he hangs up his boots. He wants to stay at Liverpool. I do believe that he's really put. Klopp has came out and said it now as well that, you know, those words put a lot of pressure on FSG. He didn't say that personally, but he said that he wants the deal to be done. He wants Mo to stay. There's a lot of pressure on FSG now to give that man what he wants. I said the other night, if Mo goes out this weekend and does the job, and then it's announced during the week, that the pressure is really going to tell now on FSG. They have to give him what he wants. It's as simple as that. Anywhere around what he's asked for, and give him the rest of incentives, because the rate he's going, there's a Ballon d'Or there. You know what I mean? There's probably break the all-time goal scoring record in one season in the Premier League. You know, the assists are like picking up. You know how fit the guy is. He's a week off now. He'll be given a rest now for the Preston game during the week. I'm so excited at what is ahead for Mo Salah, and I just hope it's in a red shirt.
And the team, and the whole team.
Oh yeah, and obviously, definitely, obviously. But
yeah,
looking at what Mo's doing week in, week out.
Yeah,
it's scary.
Yeah, it's scary to see how much he has improved, even from last season. Is absolutely scary. But I mean, collectively as a team, they're just at a different level at the moment around the whole park. Van Dijk, Alisson, the whole lot. Like, I mean, they're all. I know people turn around and say goals. You know, goals can win you this, but defenses really win you leagues and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But definitely, if we took his goals out of the team, we'd be in serious trouble. But he's absolutely outstanding. But it's great to see Jota coming in and doing a shift. Firmino coming in, Mane coming off the bench. For a team that we thought had no options, by God, we certainly have a lot of options right now, don't we?
And another goal from the middle of the park as well, Noel. You know, me and from Naby, you know, we spoke about it a lot now. Players chipping in all over the pitch. Trent again with another assist today. Keita popping up with another goal. You know, everybody's picking up the slack. We talked about during the summer. Everybody around us spent a lot of money, except for us.
Yeah,
we spent the money on Konate. I think 37 million. He's only played every now and then, but when he's come into the team, he's been outstanding. You know, I was one of the biggest critics during the summer. As we know, me and you had a falling out and all over. I just lost my fucking mind thinking, where is this money that we know is there, and why is it being put into someone's pocket except for the teams? And everyone has picked up the slack. And I said one of the things with Liverpool this season was, we're either going to break or the team comes together again and we just fucking balls to the wall and like let everyone else go about their business. Everybody's talking about how much money Chelsea spent and how much City spent and how much United spent, and they're the favourites for the league. let them do their thing. We'll go about our business. I kind of eat a bit of humble pie. You know, I'll tell you how nice it was at the end of the season if we win a trophy. But the way things are going, like everybody's just pulled in as one. Like today was basically a team versus individuals.
Absolutely. Ted, we'll end with you. What needs to happen now? I mean, obviously 8 points off top. Very difficult to make that up when you look at the form of Chelsea, City, and Liverpool at the moment. 8 points is going to be very hard to come by, especially looking at the run of games you have now in the next month and a half or whatever it is. What you're feeling now? What do you need to happen? What do you want to happen? What's your expectation?
I don't really know, to be honest. Certain people, like players, need to be dropped here, and there's no question about that. Like the likes of Bruno, he does need to be dropped, and I'm a big fan of Bruno, but he's not been at the races here. Drop him to the bench and let him be the one to come off the bench. Now, obviously, you can't do that for the next 3 games because fucking Pogba's gone and got himself sent off with a shite challenge. You know that it's god awful, and it's born from laziness because I could have told you that Bruno was going to play that ball back to him off that corner, and he was just asleep for it. Like I could have told you that's what was going to happen there, and he just wasn't awake to it, which then led him to putting in a rash challenge like that, which hopefully, you know, we're not seeing a player out for the rest of the season over, but we don't, like, nothing's come out yet about that, and I doubt it will until tomorrow. But I don't know, like Bruno's going to get the next 3 games no matter what, because there's nobody else to really take that position off him now with Pogba gone for the next 3. But he needs to be taken off. Fred definitely needs to be taken off. And I've been saying that for a long time. Fred just can't be a starter at that team at all. Maguire, if he's not fit, he needs to be taken off as well. And Ronaldo needs to, you know, it's very hard to say don't play Ronaldo, because, you know, Ronaldo can be shit for, you know, 90 minutes and then come up and score 2 for you in the 91st and 92nd minute. You know, it's very hard to say not to play him, but the team's basically a man down already with him because he's not going to be tracking back.
Yeah, team's crying out for a bit of work rate, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, honestly, get Donny on, get Pogba starting, and if you have to, just start Cavani, because Cavani can't be happy sitting on the bench and coming on as the sub all the time. You know, you have to manage the players. Listen, you're out this game, Cavani starting this one, you're going to start the next one. Alternate between them, keep them both hungry.
It shouldn't even be that way, Ted. It shouldn't be like Ole is the manager of one of the biggest clubs in the world. He shouldn't have to go to players and be like, look, not be all nice about it. Was Alex Ferguson nice to these players? I'm sure he just turned around and said, listen, mate, you're being absolutely fucking tripe. This guy is coming in, he's getting a chance. It's not a case of, look, I'm going to put him in for this game, I'm going to take you out of spotlight, you need a rest, and then you'll come into the... If Donny van de Beek gets a good run of games, I do believe he'll be successful at Man United.
Yeah,
the worry for United is you look at the next, up until the 5th of December, you look at the run of games that they have, the pressure that's on, the 2 away games in the Champions League, Atalanta and Villarreal, Spurs away, they've Man City coming up, they've Chelsea coming up, you know what I mean? We're after giving them a right old spanking in second gear without any lube, you know what I mean? And you're looking at the fixtures, they've no game midweek because they're already out of the League Cup. So there's not even an opportunity to get a bit of blood flowing through the legs of Sancho, of Tuanzebe, of Lingard, of Donny van de Beek. The decision, the starting lineup for the Spurs game next week is going to tell how Ole is about this situation. That's if he's still in charge there. But the pressure is on now to go out and make big decisions, because the axe needs to fall on a lot of players in that team. And if he goes out next week and he plays the exact same team, it's going to show that he has no bollocks whatsoever and that he's afraid of the backlash and losing the dressing room. Alex Ferguson, and you always say this, as much as I hate Man United, the credit that and the respect Alex Ferguson gets, because he didn't give a shit who you were. To be successful, you have to make them decisions. As Niall said, that Man United team, on paper, should be competing. There's too many individuals there, and they need a man to come in that has a set of balls and put the likes of Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire, put these lads in check and say, I'm the manager. I don't care how much money you're on a week. I'm the manager. End of. Simple as that.
No, there is. There's a lot of things that need to change there, and so some of it is players' personal, you know, view on how to play professional football. Some of it is just their own personal passion, because you can see, like, I know we went in a 4-0 at half time, right? And the game was gone. You're not coming back from 4-0. Like, it would have been a bloody, the scenes if United had managed to come back from 4-0 down at half time would have been unbelievable. But it's unlikely to happen. It's a very, very minuscule chance. But you need to be coming out with some passion. And they came out with the second half, and we are like 3 minutes into the second half, and Salah's got his third. That's not acceptable. So there's a lot of work to be done there at both management level and at those personal players. And I don't really know if giving Ole the chop is going to make that much of a difference. You get your new manager bans, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
As you said, Ted, on the start, there's issues there at multiple levels.
Yeah.
And I suppose from Dean's point of view is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the man to fix that? I would suggest no. I can't imagine a situation where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, with his CV and credibility, stands in front of one of the greatest players to ever kick a ball, Cristiano Ronaldo, and faces him down and tells him how shit he's been and that he's dropping him. Because I think that will just spread through like cancer. And I said it at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Dean had issues at the start of the season when he was saying United signing these players that they would be a real threat. And I turned around and I said, there's no way he's going to manage players at this level, the likes of the Varans and Ronaldos and Cavani's and players like that, because he ain't got the CV or the credibility in the game to face those guys down. And they're going to have to make a change.
Just say on Ronaldo, it's always nice, to give United a hiding. It's always nice to see United getting a hiding. My brother's a United fan, and he said to me, and he'll have no problem me saying this because obviously a lot of people who watch the podcast will know who my brother is, being a United fan. And he said the biggest mistake United could have done during the summer was bringing Ronaldo. It's all well and good, the goals he'll score and the jerseys he'll sell. The spotlight and will always be on him. And when things aren't going well in the team, no one will give a shit about how bad he's playing because it's Cristiano Ronaldo. It will always be, the problem will always be with what's around him. Yeah. It's the baggage that he carries. Pogba's the same. And it will never be Ronaldo's fault. And they could easily, 400 grand a week, they could easily have went down and brought in a couple more team players. It's Man United. They have that lure of bringing in, they can bring in whoever they want. It's Man United. They have got the money there. They haven't shied away from giving the money to Ole. And I'd say Ole, when Ronaldo was announced, I'd say he was running around his house in the nip, lathered in fucking dirty gold, thinking I've hit the jackpot. And look at the stark reality of it today when he was walking off the pitch, because the camera went to Ronaldo first, and then it went to Solskjaer. And Solskjaer, I felt sorry for him walking off the pitch. And I'm not going to lie, being a Liverpool fan, when he was walking off.
Do you reckon, Dean, he would have been that excited at the thoughts of Ronaldo coming back, knowing what he'd have to face as the manager with not the credibility to manage this guy? I would have thought he'd be more concerned. Now, we know obviously Ronaldo being such a brand would be so important to United, but I don't know whether he would have been. Ronaldo was never in that United process or conversation. You know what I mean? And he was kind of thrown on there, wasn't he?
Well, that comes down as, again, to Niall, was that the owners turning around and saying, here, we're making this decision? Which then again leads to the belief that Ole is just a stopgap there and they're waiting. But how long do they wait? If Solskjaer is the man that's there, let's be real. If Mourinho was there and Ronaldo wasn't wanted by Mourinho and things weren't going well, he'd turn around and say, well, the owners are bringing in players that I don't want, because he'll fuck the owners under the bus. It's the way Ole won't. Ole will. I believe there, I'm getting messages on my WhatsApp group from the lads from Liverpool talking about how bitter Ole's post-match interview has been, and it's just a sour mankness again. Credit where it's due. If United beat us 5-0 today, I'm sure Klopp would have came out and talked about how good a performance it was from. Apparently Solskjaer just came out and just talked about, this hasn't gone right, that hasn't gone right. Just the typical bitter sourness that you'd get from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when things aren't going right. So if it is a case of with Ronaldo and he's not happy, he needs to come out and say that he's not happy, that he didn't want him there. Because let's be real, a strong-minded manager like Mourinho, who's done it in the past, will say, this isn't what I wanted. The team isn't doing well because the players I wanted aren't coming in.
Yeah, I suppose from Solskjaer's point of view is if he does go out and say that, then he's going to go down the same road as Mourinho, and I presume he believes he can hang on.
Yeah, but also I haven't seen the post-match interviews or anything yet, but
yeah,
it's not like Ole can come out and go, yeah, Liverpool played very well today. because we've all said it. You didn't play particularly well. Like 5-0 was a flattering score for how you played. It was just we were that bad that you were able to coast through to it. Like you know what I mean. It's very hard to come out and say, "Oh, Liverpool were brilliant today." Salah was brilliant. But I said to you on the preview, Niall, would you drop Firmino for Jota? And you said, no, you couldn't drop Firmino after the performance the prior week. I'm not sure I heard Firmino's name mentioned during the whole game by the commentators. Did the man even touch the ball? Genuinely. Like, you know what I mean? Like that, he wasn't mentioned at all. So it's not like you can come out and be like, oh, they played really, really well today. A lot of those players were, they were able to just coast through it. So
it's probably best you don't say that, because it makes it even more sweeter that 5 or 6 Liverpool players didn't even show up today.
No, but that's my point. Like, Ole can't come out and go, oh, no, Liverpool played us off the park. He didn't really play us off the park. We played ourselves off the park, So it is very hard. Like, I haven't seen what he said or anything, but like, he can't come out and say you played really well, because
we know he's not a big fan of Liverpool anyway in his media duty, so there's no point even.
He has the old rivalry there.
Yeah, but I think, as Dean says, when you've come out like that and got spanked at a Liverpool playing at about 60% of what we know they can do in reality if they're up for a real proper game. You know what I mean? You come out and you turn around and go, listen, we got beaten today by the better team. I made a few mistakes maybe in player selection. Let's leave it at that. You know what I mean? Hats off to them. We were poor. They were good. We go again. You don't come out and you drop the bitterness and stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts blaming things on the sending off and everything and all. Like, you know what I mean? This is what happens. You know what I mean? But I think, something, Ted, you can only go out and beat the team that's in front of you.
It's nothing against, Liverpool went out and they did the job. It's just, I'm just saying, like, I haven't seen what Ole has said, but you can't come out and say they played Liverpool played really well either. Like, that's not true either. He's won 5-0, but he didn't play really well.
Well, I'm sorry that I'm not laughing at you, Ted. I'm just, Greg is after putting some into the WhatsApp group, and it's you'll see it when you get off the podcast, but it's fucking hilarious about Solskjaer. Stop.
No, Greg's hated him for years.
Greg being a big Ole Gunnar Solskjaer fan since the beginning. Yeah,
I text me brother, and I was like, I'd say there's a lot of people happy tomorrow's a bank holiday and they don't have to walk into work tomorrow morning to what's coming. And for us, Niall, we're 5 days away from going out to Liverpool. What a roller coaster to be on at the moment. Going into Anfield next weekend after giving you a night at hiding. I'm absolutely buzzing. Lee is being texting me and all, like, it's
gonna be cool.
Man, I'm absolutely living for next week now.
Well, listen, lads, a pleasure having you on. Ted, listen, thanks for coming on. I know it's not easy to come on for this situation.
It's not, but you can't shy away from it, You can't shy away from coming on.
I will leave you with this
thought.
The Reds
have got no money, but we'll still win the league. The Reds have got no money, but we'll still win the league. Sorry, Ted.
I shall leave you with this thought. If you hang around long enough, you become the villain. Till next time, man. Cheers.
Look.